Welcome to our channel, Sahil Devan Files. Today, we're going to uncover a story that sounds like something out of a movie, but it actually happened. So let's begin.
It is just another day at the desk. Everything is in its place, and the work is moving along exactly as it should, without any distractions at all. Your phone is beside you. Nothing feels unusual. Then a meeting notification appears. You click. The meeting begins. And there they are. Your colleagues, people you recognize. And then you see your company's senior executive. You know his face. You've heard his voice. You've probably spoken to him before. Everything looks completely normal. Then he starts talking about money. There's an urgent financial transaction that needs to be completed. You hesitate. Something feels slightly strange. But then you look at the screen again. Your colleagues are there. They're listening. They're responding. They're confirming what the executive is saying. So you think, maybe I'm just being paranoid. You follow the instructions. The first transfer goes through, then another, then another. Millions of dollars are moving. You leave the meeting thinking you've just completed an important task. But later, you contact the real company. And that's when you discover something terrifying. The people you were just speaking to weren't actually there. The faces were fake. The voices were fake. The meeting was fake. And the person sitting at that computer had just been manipulated by artificial intelligence. This isn't science fiction. This actually happened in Hong Kong. And the amount involved was approximately 240 million Hong Kong dollars, more than 30 million US dollars. So how did criminals pull this off? And more importantly, what happens when criminals can create a fake reality convincing enough to make you trust it? The case became public in 2024. Hong Kong authorities later described a deepfake fraud case involving a pre-recorded video conference and losses of around 240 million Hong Kong dollars. Think about what makes this case different. This wasn't simply a suspicious email. It wasn't a random phone call. The criminals created an entire situation designed to look legitimate. A workplace, a meeting, colleagues, a senior executive, and a financial instruction. Everything surrounding the victim was designed to create one thing: trust. And trust has always been the most powerful weapon in a scam. But artificial intelligence is changing how that weapon works. For years, scammers had an obvious weakness. They could pretend to be someone, but they couldn't necessarily look like that person. A suspicious photograph, a strange voice, an awkward video, something usually gave them away. AI is changing that. A deepfake can manipulate or generate video and audio to make someone appear to say or do something they never actually said or did. And the technology has legitimate uses. Movies use synthetic media, artists use it, researchers use it, businesses use AI every day. The technology itself isn't the criminal. The problem is what happens when someone uses it to impersonate another human being. And suddenly, your eyes can become part of the deception. But imagine something even simpler. Your phone rings. You answer. Someone says, "Hey, it's me." You recognize the voice instantly. It's your brother, your father, your friend, your boss, someone you trust. They tell you there's an emergency. They need money, and they need it now. You don't question the identity because you recognize the voice. But what if the voice isn't theirs? What if AI created it? Voice cloning means criminals can potentially imitate someone's voice using existing recordings. And now one of the strongest signals we use to identify people can be manipulated. That's what makes this so psychologically powerful. The criminal doesn't necessarily have to convince you, "I'm someone important." They can try to make you believe, "I'm someone you already know." And that's a completely different level of deception. But here's something important. The most dangerous part isn't necessarily the AI itself. It's psychology. Think about how humans decide whether someone is trustworthy. We look at their face, we hear their voice, we remember their behavior, we recognize their mannerisms, we see them in a familiar environment. All of these tiny details create a feeling that says, "I know this person." AI can now imitate many of those signals, and that means criminals don't always have to create trust from nothing. They can borrow it. Borrow a CEO's identity. Borrow a celebrity's reputation. borrow a family member's voice, borrow a friend's face. And that's exactly what makes deepfake fraud so dangerous. Now imagine you meet someone online. You see their profile picture. They look completely real. They have photographs. They have social media posts. They have conversations. They have a voice. They seem to have a normal life. But there's one problem. The person doesn't exist. The face was generated. The photographs were generated. The voice was generated. The entire identity is artificial. And suddenly we have a much bigger question. How do you know who you're actually talking to? For years, the internet taught us to verify passwords. Now we may have to verify people. Now imagine scrolling through social media. You see a famous person talking directly to you. They're promoting an investment. They explain how they've supposedly made money. The video looks professional. The voice sounds perfect. Millions of people recognize the face. You think, if they're recommending it, maybe it's legitimate. But what if they never made the video? Hong Kong authorities have warned about deepfake impersonation involving public figures and fraudulent investment schemes. The criminal doesn't need to build a reputation. They can borrow someone else's. And that could be a celebrity, a CEO, a government official, or even someone you personally know. Let's go back to that office, because the most disturbing part of the story isn't simply that AI was involved, it's how believable the situation became. The employee didn't see a random stranger. They saw people they recognized. They didn't receive a strange message. They joined a meeting. They didn't simply hear a suspicious voice. They saw a person speaking. The criminals created an entire environment around the deception, and that is the real evolution of AI scams. The fake isn't just becoming better. The story around the fake is becoming better. And humans don't make decisions based only on facts. We make decisions based on context. If everything around us looks normal, we naturally assume the situation is normal. And now imagine taking this technology and combining it with automation. AI can A criminal doesn't necessarily need to manually create every message, every fake profile, every piece of content, every interaction. The technology can potentially make those processes faster, and that's where cybersecurity experts become concerned. Not necessarily because one criminal becomes unbelievably powerful, but because the same criminal could potentially target many more people. One attempt becomes hundreds. Hundreds become thousands. And even if only a small percentage succeed, the damage can become enormous. But there's a problem for the criminals. Every deception leaves evidence. And this is where investigators enter the story. When authorities investigate suspicious digital content, they don't simply ask, does this face look fake? They can examine the entire chain of events. Where did the video come from? Who created the account? When was it created? Who communicated with the victim? What happened before the transaction? Where did the money go? Was the video pre-recorded? Were the same identities used elsewhere? What digital evidence exists? The face may be fake, but the money trail is real. The communication history is real. The accounts are real. And somewhere inside all that information, there may be a clue. And now we reach the most interesting part. Because criminals aren't the only ones using AI, investigators are using technology too. Companies are developing systems designed to detect manipulated media. Security researchers are studying synthetic voices. Financial institutions are monitoring suspicious transactions. Governments are warning people about AI impersonation. It's becoming a technological arms race. One side creates better fakes. The other side develops better detection. Then the fakes improve again, and the cycle continues. But there is one thing humans can do that technology can't completely replace. Verification. Imagine receiving a message from your boss asking you to transfer money. Don't simply trust the message. Verify it. Someone calls you claiming to be a family member. Don't rely only on the voice. Verify them through another method. You see a celebrity promoting an investment. Don't trust the face. Find the original source. You receive a video that looks unbelievable. Don't immediately share it. Ask, where did this come from?
Okay, that's it for today. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you in the next one.